Well, here we are again for the weekly forecast. Last week we talked about the potential of some colder weather arriving late in the week, along with a chance of precipitation. Actually, the system that has been impacting us the last couple of days came in about 24 hours earlier than what the models were suggesting last week, and we've seen some very impressive rainfall totals across portions of central Nebraska and up through north central Nebraska, anywhere from 2 to 6 inches in the Hastings area. And then we had some areas that approached up to 8 inches near the Walbach. And across eastern Nebraska, totals varied in the 1 to 2 inch range on the Wednesday storm. And then we had some follow-up moisture. But more impressively, we've seen the cold air start to move into the Panhandle, and a big first season snowstorm for the Front Range of the Rockies, particularly Wyoming and up through Montana. And some of that carried over in, of course, to the northwestern Panhandle, where the snow was still flying this morning, and it should have come to an end here this afternoon. But we might see in some of those areas anywhere from 8 inches, possibly even 12 inches, coupled with some high winds. So our first taste of winter, unfortunately, there's probably more of them coming down the road, but we need the moisture, so we welcome that. And we hope that as we go through this winter, we'll see a continuation of that trend to rebuild the snowpack so that eventually will result in some much improved reservoir situations in western Nebraska. Let's take a look at the upper air models and see how this week is going to progress. And as we go to the upper air models, the first thing I'll draw your attention to is here's that upper air system that was impacting us for through the Wednesday through yesterday's time frame that's now slipping up to the western Great Lakes, and we'll start to see conditions starting to ease as we go through the afternoon hours, precipitation coming in across north central and northwestern Nebraska. And as the system moves out, we'll start to see clearing conditions. Today looks to be the coldest in this week, with pretty much typical 40-degree weather out in the northwestern Panhandle to possibly low 50s as you get across southern Nebraska. And then by tomorrow, the system lifts to the Great Lakes. We start to see this ridge build in, and it looks like a fairly good stretch of dry weather, although we'll start out cool and it's gradually warm. We'll see temperatures improve by 10 to 15 degrees on Sunday. As we get into Monday, of course, the ridge starts to build in, and we start to see some very nice conditions and drying weather, and more as we get into Tuesdays. We'll get under the core of the warmth. We could be looking at a good widespread 70s across the state, with possibly some low 80s across southern Nebraska. Now on Wednesday, we're going to start to see a trough coming into the Pacific Northwest, and another piece of system coming up from the Baja Peninsula. All of those will start to merge into the Central Plains as we get into later in the week. So by the time we get to Thursday, the system takes shape, and we start to see an increase in precipitation chances, particularly Thursday night across the Panhandle. On Friday, they start to move out into the state. The best probability of precipitation will be across western Nebraska, most of it moving into eastern Nebraska on Saturday. The temperatures look to be very cool this weekend, warming as we go to the late part of the next week. And then we'll see a cool down on Friday. 8 to 14 day forecast says below normal temperatures as that new trough comes in terms of precipitation. Another round of precipitation for us. Now if we look at the 30-day forecast for October, keeps the warmth to the east in terms of precipitation, below normal precipitation. But I will remind you that this latest storm system, pretty much for the eastern half of the state, we've already hit our monthly precipitation total for October.